Hello everyone, I hope you're having a nice Tuesday so far. For maths today we are carrying on with time. Yesterday we were looking at identifying the o'clock time with the minute hand. Today we were looking at identifying the half past time with the minute hand. So for today's lesson you will need your minute clock with your minute hand and your hour clock with your hour hand. To start, I want you to practice counting up in halves, starting with 0, half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and so on. Go all the way to 10 and practice that a few times. Once you've done that, get your resources ready and we will go through some examples together. So if you remember what we did last week when we were looking at half past with the hour hand, we had our numbers 1 to 12 in a line. For this purpose, I could only fit 1 to 5 on my screen. But you'd have your numbers in a line, and when the hour hand was directly halfway between two numbers, we knew it was half past. So here, the hour hand is directly halfway between the 3 and the 4, so it is 3:30. Now, if we look at our clocks from last week with the hour hand, we can still see that the hour hand is directly halfway between the 3 and the 4, so it is 3:30. Now, when we check the minute hand has gone halfway around the clock and is facing the bottom of the clock. This means it is half past. So when that minute hand points directly to the bottom of the clock, we know that it is a half past time. Okay, have a look at these two clocks and see if you can work out the time. Pause the video here to have a think. So the hour hand is directly halfway between the 7 and the 8, and the minute hand is directly pointing the bottom of the clock. Therefore, the time must be 7:30. Have a look at these two clocks and see if you can work out this time. The hour hand is directly halfway between the 9 and the 10, and the minute hand is pointing directly to the bottom of the clock. Therefore, we know the time must be 9:30. If the time is now 9:30, what do you think the time might be half an hour later? So the hour hand was directly halfway between the 9 and the 10 for 9:30, and we want to know what it would be half an hour later. If you remember when we counted in halves in class last week, it would have gone 9, 9.5, 10. So the hour hand was at 9.5, and if we added on a half, we would be sitting at 10. So the hour hand is now directly pointing towards the 10. So we can assume it is probably 10 o'clock. Now, when we were looking at the minute hand for 9:30, the minute hand was pointing directly to the bottom of the clock. It needs to do a half turn for half an hour later. After it's done its half turn, the hand is now pointing directly to the top. So it is o'clock. Therefore, we know the time now must be 10 o'clock. Okay, have a look at these two clocks and see if you can work out the time. Once you think you've worked out the time, work out what the time might be half an hour earlier. So the answer was, it is 12:30. Let's see what the time would be half an hour earlier. So the answer is, it is now 12 o'clock. The hour hand was halfway between the 12 and the 1, but it moved anti-clockwise a half. So it was 12.5, and it is now pointing towards the 12. The minute hand was pointing directly to the bottom of the clock and did half a turn anti-clockwise and is now pointing directly towards the top of the clock. Therefore, it is now 12 o'clock. Here is what your worksheet will look like today. So the what is we are learning to identify half past using the minute hand. I want you all to start with the bronze challenge and work your way through at your own pace. Looking at bronze, you need to look at these clocks and identify what the time is. For silver, you need to draw the hands, the hour hand and the minute hand, to show what the time is. And then as you progress, there are a few questions asking what the time would be half an hour later or half an hour earlier. And then for gold, you will have a few worded problems asking you to work out what the time would be half an hour later or half an hour earlier.